What's up, Wayne Barron here with DarkEffects.net, and we are inside of Adobe After Effects, and this is lesson number 3 of our plugin series. This one right here is going to be taken off from our lesson number 2, where we dealt with the camera lens blur. This is using the same plugin as that one, except as you can see, we have if you're familiar with watching the commercials, or let's go back to our childhood. This is for people that are, well, under at least 20, 25-ish on up. Do you remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? At the very beginning of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it would show a camera panning over the city or the town that he lived in, and everything looked so small. Well, other than the fact that it was small because they were little toys, this is using a concept that would have been used back then if we were using a bigger city, and this is called the tiny effect, or at least that's what I call it. And as you can see here, we're highlighting certain areas. We're highlighting this tree, we're highlighting the fence here, the rock, and especially the water right there. You can actually see the water and even watch the bug fly right there. And so, I mean, there's all sorts of things going on in this video. We got a bug flying right there. And so, and the colors are just so extraordinarily vibrant that it makes this little project here come to life in its very own sense. So let's go ahead and jump into it and create our own little world. Okay, so now we're going to come over here. We're going to grab a hold of our footage. We're going to drop it into a new composition. And as you can see, our footage, this is my own stock footage, and my camera takes decent video, but not the best. But we're going to make it better. So with our footage selected here, let's go ahead and come up to our layer, new adjustment layer. First thing we want to do is that we want to make our colors pop so that we can work with this better. So let's come over to, with our adjustment layer selected, come over to Effect, and come down to Color Correction and down to Vibrance. Okay, now whenever Vibrance loads, I already know what to set this at, so you might want to play around with it with yours. However, you are going to have access to this footage here, so you'll be able to take a look at this as well. But we're going to set this one to 80. And as you can see, once we set it to 80, it looks like you're actually there and the daylight is shining, and it's gorgeous. So let's remove the vibrance and add the vibrance, and look, it pops out all the greens, all the yellows, all the blues. Everything is just perfect. So now the next thing we want to do is that we want to come into layer, new adjustment layer, and let's drop this to the bottom. This right here is our color. Okay, we're going to name our adjustment layer Vignette. So Vignette. Okay, and with our vignette selected, let's come up here to Effect, and then Blur and Sharpen, and choose Camera Lens Blur, just as we did on our lesson 2. Okay, we're going to leave everything the same here, except that on our repeat edge, we are going to check it. Now let's come over here, make sure that Vignette is selected, and let's go ahead and add in some mask. So we're going to drag our mask over to here, select the pen tool so that we can actually work with our mask better. We're going to drag it out like so. Drag that in. Bring that down. Let's move this out just a little bit, not too much. Go ahead and bring that over just a little bit. Okay, now come over here, and with our first mask, let's go ahead and name this to our little pond here. We want to make this subtract. Then we want to come down to our feather, and we want to set this at 75. And so whenever we go out, there you go. So you got this whole area is shaded. Then we have our pond, which brings focus into it. So now let's come over here and let's do the same thing to our rock. Make sure Vignette is selected. Go ahead and create our mask here. select our pen tool, click on it, drag it up, come around, let's do the same thing with this one, subtract it and change it to 75, and then we're going to name this one Rock. I'll be darned. Let's try that one more time with our mask. Click on it, hit enter, Rock. Okay, now once again we're going to come over here, we're going to grab a hold of this one. I don't know how I got to the camera tool, but we're going to grab a hold of this one right here. So let's go ahead and draw this about right up in there, hold down control key, drag it up, and then change over to our pen tool, and then let's redefine our mask. Okay, and then let's subtract this one, click, hit enter, this is our fence. And then we're going to drag it down and change our feather to 75. Draw this out, hold down control, drag it up, and now choose the pen tool. Let's redefine it just a little bit, not much because this is laying down, so let's drag, whoops. Really going to change that color, so let's come over here to a darker color. There we go. That looks good right there. And then this one right here, click, is fence down. We're going to subtract, then 75 on this one. Okay, and that's what it looks like. So now the next one is our tree right here. So let's grab a hold of the ellipse tool. Make sure the vignette is selected. Drag it all the way up. And then grab a hold of our pen tool. Drag this out. Click. Well, daggone it. Let's try this again. Bring this out. Bring this one out to about there. Sort of bring this over to the side here just a little bit so we can pick up a little bit of this area as well, and then drag this over to grab a hold of a little bit of the root system coming down, and that should be good. Click, enter, name this one Tree, and as well subtract and then change it to 75. Click up here, and then there you go. We have our tree, we have our rock, we have fence, and our water right here. And then whenever we run it, okay, and there we go. This is the way it looks like as it is rendered out. We still have our bugs flying up from the water, and to be honest with you, I've watched this footage many times, and this is the first time I've actually seen the bugs flying, so that is pretty cool. But anyway, it actually turned out to be a really nice video, so I hope that y'all enjoy it as much as I do. I mean, it turned out really good. Alright, this is Wayne Barron, darkeffects.net with lesson 3 of our plugin series. Y'all have a rocking time now. Bye bye.